What's up, everybody? It's Josh. I want to talk about Black Widow's second weekend box office. It had a significant drop. Some people are saying it's a really, really bad sign. So I want to kind of just go over that with you guys today. So first of all, when you just type in Black Widow box office, I find this to be pretty interesting. You have an article from Variety. It says here, movie theater owners blame Marvel's Black Widow box office collapse on Disney. And I assume they're talking about Disney Plus. Deadline says here, Black Widow theater owners blast Disney's day and date strategy for undermining Marvel, blah, blah, blah. Then you have the BBC News, Space Jam, LeBron James sequel, slam dunks Black Widow at box office, okay? So you have just a ton of negative headlines here right off the bat. Two from Hollywood Trades, one from the BBC. That's pretty wild. So here we go. Let's look at what Deadline has to say. Again, the title here, Black Widow theater owners blast Disney day and day strategy for undermining Marvel picks box office and future revenues. The National Association of Theater Owners have finally spoken out about the financial peril involved in Disney's ambitious day and date theatrical release of Black Widow. In a press release dropped this afternoon, following our analysis of what went sideways with the Marvel Cinematic Universe title, NATO, which is that organization, asks, how can a well-reviewed, well-received, highly anticipated Marvel title underperform, leading to a first weekend Friday to Saturday collapse of 41% and a 67% drop in weekend two? NATO comes to the same conclusion as we did in regards to Black Widow getting her legs picked off. Piracy and Disney Plus at-home cannibalization, which impacts not just the box office, but the pick's subsequent home window as well. The Disney Theater Day and Date Disney Plus model ignores that Premier Access revenue is not newfound money, but was pulled forward from a more traditional PVOD window, which is no longer an option, NATO reports. Despite assertions that this pandemic-era improvised release strategy was a success for Disney and the simultaneous release model, it demonstrates that an exclusive theatrical release means more revenue for all stakeholders in every cycle of the movie's life. Influenced the NATO news drop. Given the opening day and weekend ratios of other comparable Marvel movies and other successful Pandy-era titles like F9 and A Quiet Place 2, NATO says the Black Widow should have opened to between 92 to 100 million based on preview revenue compared to the same titles. Black Widow could have opened anywhere to 97 to 130 mil as the release. And they go on to talk about piracy, but let's just read the conclusion here. It says, this was also the case for all simultaneously releases. Wonder Woman 1984, Godzilla vs. Kong, Cruella, Mortal Kombat. This did not happen for F9 or A Quiet Place 2. How much money did everyone lose simultaneously release piracy? The many questions raised by Disney's limited release of streaming data opening weekend are being rapidly answered by Black Widow's disappointing and anomalous performance. The most important answer is that simultaneous release is a Pandy-era artifact that should be left to history with the Pandy itself. Okay, so pretty interesting. Again, they're really hitting them hard. Now, look, that is a huge drop, right, for revenue, right? And I think I saw some people saying it's like one of the biggest MCU drops ever for a film, and I have sort of some mixed feelings on this. I kind of wanted to just talk about the report here, talk about I'll tell you this, Marvel is not in trouble at all. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think Marvel is in trouble at all. I don't think this is a sign that Marvel is in trouble. No, this is frankly a sign of many other factors going on, and the truth of the matter is, Black Widow is just a bad sort of litmus test for a lot of different other things, because it really and truly is a movie that is out of time and not the most hyped Marvel movie. Like, there's just too many factors that make Black Widow, to me, not as much of a draw, and you definitely don't need to see it to understand where the MCU is going. Now, for me personally, just anecdotally here, yes, doing it on Disney Plus and paying that $30 and having that convenience of it right there in my house. I recall the next day it was kind of like, okay, what do we want to do? Do I want to go to the theater? Do I want to put the pups in the kennel? Do I want to drive there? Do I want to check out the previews, wait in line or whatever, and then be in the theater and then have to drive home? Or do I just want to hit play again on Disney Plus? Absolutely, this made a massive difference, and it did prevent me from going out and seeing this thing in the theater. But I can't tell how much of that is just because of the uniqueness of this film in particular. With Shang-Chi and with Eternals, and definitely with Spider-Man No Way Home, I anticipate wanting to see that stuff in the theater more than I wanted to see it for Black Widow. But I think it's also fair to say that for normies and just like the baseline audiences out there for movie theaters, Marvel was really it. And so you see Hollywood hitting really hard at Disney because a lot of different people seem like they're going to lose a lot of money because of this deal. But the thing that I keep coming back to, because I looked at these numbers earlier in the day, I thought about all of this, and yes, it is bad for movie theaters. It is bad for that industry of movie theater going and distribution and all that sort of stuff. But I can't necessarily argue that it's actually bad for Disney shareholders because they made $60 million last weekend on Disney Plus. Like, that's crazy. Okay, so if I'm Disney and I'm looking at these numbers and I'm looking at, the variance of the pandy stuff that is having the market act very afraid right now. If you're like in the stock market, if you're looking at the stock market, things are like crazy right now. People are panicking over the possibility of more lockdowns or the possibility of a crazy back half of the year. You just look at discretionary income sort of going down. People maybe not wanting to spend as much money. And again, for a family, spending $30 at home to watch Black Widow and getting popcorn, that is the more economical route. Chapek said we want to meet consumers where they are. If we do head towards more scary situations with the pandy and stuff, and there are already places that are not open around the planet, like a lot of places, apparently like 70% of that $60 million happened overseas for Disney Plus. Like, it's crazy. Like, you start to do the math, and I don't know, man. I just think that the math may take us to a place where day and date release is actually the move. And I worry about theaters for sure. I worry about theaters, but I don't know that you can just say this is all on Disney. The theatrical experience was already going down. There were a lot of movie theaters that didn't actually provide a great experience. They didn't revolutionize or renovate any of their stuff during the pandy. So, still the same old dim light bulbs, the same old crappy management, whatever. Like, I just think that we are in a place where the economy and the entertainment industry is changing. It's changing right in front of our eyes. And do I want movie theaters to go away completely? No. But do I think that big, massive box offices are coming back? I don't really think so. And as I really did think that Far From Home was going to be the one that could hit up to a billy, right? But I mean, what if billion-dollar movies just aren't on the table anymore? Whether it be piracy, streaming, the shortening window, which is happening regardless because people want that streaming money. They want to add value in that sense to the streaming. Guys, it's kind of what we were saying last year. The theater experience may well just be a diminished industry permanently moving forward. So I don't know. I wanted to kind of talk about this. I don't think this is bad news for Marvel. It certainly brings up questions. They have the strongest brand out. This movie made a ton of money. It's going to continue to make money, not at the level they wanted, but hey, it is what it is. It was supposed to come out a year ago. I don't think it has the same draw. I think Shang-Chi will have a much bigger box office, even if they do day and date. Now, there's a lot of people saying we won't do day and date. That's gone. I don't know. I think that could still come right back, especially if lockdowns and things come back. So, I don't know, man. An interesting question. Is Black Widow in trouble? Is Marvel in trouble? Are movie theaters in trouble? Is anybody in trouble? You let me know what you think about all of this and more in the comment section below. A reminder, come on by the live streaming channel. We'll be talking about all kinds of nerdy stuff. You can bring your questions. You can yell at me for something I said in this video over on the live streaming channel. And as I always say, I hope you are having an awesome and a nerdy day, and I will see you in the next video.